everyone, my name is Gina and I'm here from howdesign.com and printmag.com at the How Design Live Conference 2019. I'm here with Justin Ahrens, Creative Director of Rule29 and past judge of Sappi's Ideas That Matter competition. And before we get into our conversation, I just want to say that if you hear any drum, bass, speaking noises, we are at a real conference with real people.
That's right.
So we apologize for the noise, but enjoy the energy. All right, let's get into it. So Justin, like I said, is here from Ideas That Matter on behalf of Sappi. So Justin, tell us in your own words what it's like judging the competition and a little bit about the competition itself.
Oh, great. Well, thank you for that introduction. And what I love about this program is that being a judge, you get to look at all of these incredible pieces of design that are really literally trying to change the world. You have projects that are, telling designers how to, share the story differently, how to impact communities through design thinking. And I don't know if I was more inspired than the people who ended up getting some of the grant money, because I remember going home on the plane and filling up my sketchbook because I was so just excited about all the great work going on around the world. It's super exciting.
Right.
So the fact that Sappi has this program, I think this is the 20th anniversary.
It is, that's right. It started in 1999.
And that is just phenomenal to me. So that means for 20 years, Sappi's been helping the creative community literally change the world.
Yep.
And so that is completely inspiring that exists. But to be a judge and to see that work and to be able to be a part of helping it advance is just really special.
Right on. So like Justin said, this competition began in 1999, and the whole concept is that cause marketing is really helpful and beneficial for everybody in terms of both innovating fantastic ideas that can change and impact the world, but also making cool design, which is part of the reason why we're all here at How Design Works. So we're talking about projects, and obviously today there are so many forms of media, and a project that's going to be impactful on a large scale needs to be able to work across so many different forms.
Yeah.
But over the years, I mean, like we said earlier, Sappi has been using this competition since 1999.
Right.
Have you found that any particular medium has a really long-lasting impact?
Sure, that's a great question. Well, I mean, I think ideally, Sappi would love you to, apply for a grant to a project that, of course, has some sort of paper element to it, right? That makes sense. They're a paper company. And although that isn't an end-all requirement, I think what we know now is any campaign, messaging, project that is multifaceted, right? Has a print component, has a digital component, has a web component. Those are the projects that actually get our attention more, because we think that there is a deeper possibility that it will be successful, right? Because they're understanding that there's multiple channels that we have to communicate to these days. So, if your project has those elements to it, it's going to have a better chance to get noticed, because you're understanding the impact that print has. You're understanding how print can really make your digital web components that much stronger.
Right.
And there's something still beautiful about having a tangible, artifact that you can look at whenever you want.
I totally agree with you, and I think you're right that the comprehensive sort of program oversight is really meaningful, especially today. So Justin, tell me a little bit about some of the projects that you think have the criteria to make an impact with the Ideas That Matter competition.
Sure, that's a great question. Well, any project that is working with a 501c3 or its Canadian equivalent, and is working toward make the world a better place, right? Baseline, you qualify. Right? And what's really amazing is you can get up to $50,000 in grant money.
Wow.
And what happens is, if you have a project like that, right, you can go ahead and apply for it. And what happens is that work then goes to a judging panel, and it's a mixture of judges that are in this space, right? They do design for good work. They do social cause type of projects, and we go through it. We talk about it. We debate over it. There's great debates over it because it's such a passionate thing, right? We're helping advance projects that are literally, trying to make the world a better place, and so that's really fantastic. So if you're doing a project, there's criteria on...
That was going to be my next question.
There's criteria on the order form.
Okay.
And I think sometimes when you do these kind of things, I think we tend to just be like, I'll just put in the basics, right? And just,
flow through it and not,
they'll see it's a great project and we'll get there. But I can tell you as a judge, when you're looking at so many great projects, anything you can do to differentiate yourself is huge.
Right.
So add more detail, add more clarity, tell the story, bring me into what's going on. Because what happens is, you know, some of the projects you see, you're like, oh yes, this is like so complete, ready to go. But we also have an ability as a judge to award you maybe a smaller amount than what you're asking for.
Yeah.
So sometimes there's projects that we just love so much that we had some money left over, and they may have asked for like 30,000, but we have 10 left and we give them 10,000. So the more detail you give, the more you can paint the picture of the impact and how this is really going to advance what you're doing, the better it is for to get picked.
Okay. So would you say that impact is the primary the primary evaluation tool when it comes to judging? What other criteria are you looking for? And how much does potential impact play into the winner?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I mean, impact, of course, is huge. But I think, you know, when I was talking earlier about developing that story arc, so first of all, you know, what is the need? Does this even really need to exist? So share with us why you're doing it, right?
What niche it fills.
Yeah, right. Okay. And then how specifically you're going to go ahead and approach it. What are your expected outcomes? How are you going to bring other people into it? But also, impact is massive, but so is some level of sustainability, right?
Sure.
I think if a great project has maybe a short lifespan, it could still qualify. But ideally, is this going to be a project that's going to, you know, have a lifeline?
Right. Viability is such a fantastic tool of evaluation because we all want to change the world, but actually doing it requires a lot of know-how.
Right.
So I do just want to ask one last question before we wrap it up here.
Sure.
Tell me about how you went from being a judge to really participating in the competition on a larger level. Why we're talking right now.
Sure. Well, actually, I've entered the Ideas That Matter grant program several times.
Okay.
And I didn't win.
Great.
And so, but what that did is that really inspired me to continue to try to develop projects. And so I have the fortune to be on the AIJ National Board right now.
There you go.
And I help lead the Design for Good task force.
Oh, okay.
And I collaborated with some other Design for Good leaders in our community, and we developed, in conjunction with the AIJ, a methodology to help creatives not only connect the dots to the type of work that would ultimately make the world a better place, but also to help define those dots, right? And so this kind of workbook or approach we submitted as a potential grantee, and we won.
There it is!
So it was great, we finally did it. So we ended up getting $30,000 to help finish creating this system and the materials that we then can go distribute to the creative community to help them do work in a more strategic, measurable, sustainable, and impactful way. And so we're pretty excited about that.
That's so cool. And I think that's really what this conversation is about, right? Using the good that we can do, that we already have done, to create and perpetuate more good in the world that we're currently occupying. So any last thoughts, Justin, or you feel like we've had a good talk?
We had a good talk. I like your energy.
Thank you.
I think the only thing I'll say is, if you at all think this is a possibility, man, take the time to enter. Because there's opportunities there for you to get investment to make these things happen. And I think it's an unbelievable opportunity, and I hope you check it out.
All right, and on that note, thank you all for watching. Again, this is Justin Ahrens from Rule29, Creative Director, and heavily involved with Sappi's Ideas That Matter program. I am Gina from HowDesign.com and PrintMag.com. Thank you for watching, and bye.
See ya.